Hello there and a very good evening. You're with Primetime News. I'm Dasmi Athav for News First, and let's start off with a look at your headlines.
Minister Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca says he will not support a common candidate. Attorney Nagananda comments on who actually needs to be sentenced to death. Bayasiri Jayasekara reveals about a deal between a group from the JO and UNP. Imran Khan claims victory in Pakistan election amid rigging claims.
The reinstatement of the capital punishment was widely discussed at a forum in Colombo.
If the capital punishment is to be reinstated, the first matter that needs to be addressed in a country is the rule of law. The rule of law in the country is zero. If the rule of law was in effect in Sri Lanka, GLP should not be here today. He needs to be behind bars. Why do I say this? These are people who use the Anti-Corruption Commission to chase away former Chief Justice Shivani Bandaranayake after conspiring to expel her. They presented a false allegation at the Chief Magistrate's Court. After she was stripped of her title, the directors of that commission withdrew that false allegation. You must view this wisely.
The චෝදනාවක් මත මේගොල්ලන්ගේ දූෂණ කොමිසමේ අධ්‍යක්ෂක ජනරාල්වරිය ගිහිල්ලා ඒ චෝදනාව විලාස කරගත්තා. ප්‍රඥාවෙන් මේවා දකින්න. Nagananda, don't aim at invitees. No. I must I must make use of the opportunity. No, I will stop it. Okay, I will stop that. People are entitled to know the truth. People are waiting for opportunity to go for a real change. මේ රටේ බොරු change එකෙන් වැඩක් නැහැ නේ ඔබට. ඔබ අපේක්ෂා කරන දෙයක් තියෙනවා. මොකද්ද ඔබ අපේක්ෂා කරන්නේ? මේ රට යන්න ඕන තැනට ගෙනියන්න.
Don't be personal, please.
Okay, no. I am referring to every individual. I have nothing to do with politics. Mama පැහැදිලිවම support කරනවා.
There is no point of a fake change in this country. There is something that you aspire. You aspire to move this nation to where it needs to be. I support the reinstatement of the capital punishment, but it needs to be enforced not on those who bring drugs in small quantities. Just as it was said, we cannot agree for those who bring container loads of drugs being appointed as ministers and those who bring minor quantities being sent to prison.
Addressing a gathering in Kalaniya, Field Marshal Sarath Fonseca said he will not support a common candidate.
ක්‍රිකට් නායක සංගතකාර මොකද ඒ කතාව ඇත්ත නැහැ.
මම එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ කැටියට කියන්නේ අනිවාර්යෙන් අපි ඡන්ද දෙන්න ඕනේ එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයේ නායකයා.
As a member of the UNP, I say that we vote for the victory of the leader of the UNP. We should appoint someone who is a natural leader and someone who can go to the grassroots and be with the people, but he should be from within the UNP. Otherwise, there is no point in importing anyone and wasting our time. Although he is an excellent cricketer, I don't think he would make a good politician. Even I took 7 to 8 years to understand the workings of politics.
පීඩකේ. නමුත් මම හිතන්නේ එතුමා දේශපාලනේ හරියට කරයි කියලා. මටත් දේශපාලනේ කියන එක හරියට තේරුම් ගන්න ගියා අවුරුදු 7-8ක්.
දැන් එතුමා මේ කුමාර සංගතකාර ඉදිරිපත් වුණු ඔබතුමාලගේ සහාය ලබා දෙනවද?
මම සහාය ලබා
I will not support any common candidate. I will only support the leader of the UNP or anyone he appoints. If not, the leader of the UNP has to appoint someone who has put in the hard work for the party and someone who knows how to move with the people.
In the recent days, it was revealed that the expert panel appointed to draft a new constitution experienced undue pressure. News First takes a more detailed look into this matter.
Was there any pressure on you when drafting the constitution?
To a certain extent.
Does that mean some of the matters were removed from the document?
We produced 2 reports. 6 members produced 1 report. The second was produced by myself and another called Chaminda Saparamadu. The views of all the members have been presented. 1 report was to be prepared, but all cannot agree at that given time. That is difficult, and that is why we produced 2 reports. 2 members did not attend any meeting. One is in Singapore and the other had no time for this. So it was 6-2.
MPs Jayampati Vikramaratne and Sumandiran have made statements saying that a new constitution is being drafted and it will be presented to the steering committee. It is clear that the government is well aware and responsible of these documents put forward to the committee. The government has not even been able to obtain the signatures of the 2 remaining members of the total 10 members. If the government is arbitrarily attempting to bring such an act, deviating from democratic means, we wish to note that they have no power to present it to Parliament.
MPs Jayampati Vikramaratne and Sumandiran wanted to put forward the draft produced by a single person rather than putting forward the report prepared by 10 members. They even obtained the signatures of a few others. This was an attempt to put forward the reports put forward by a few people as the discussion paper on the draft. MPs Jayampati Vikramaratne and Sumandiran did not allow those experts to act independently and attempted to manipulate this process. This issue arose because Parliament, Cabinet and those in the steering committee were misled.
Following these revelations, MP M.A. Sumandiran made a statement criticizing us. We have only one response to Sumandiran. People who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. We are in possession of a huge amount of information about you, but we have decided not to expose them because we do not wish to derail your political career. However, we wish to strongly remind you that your political journey is very harmful to the majority Tamil community. Protecting the corrupt is not the aspirations of the majority Tamil community. Therefore, MP M.A. Sumandiran, enter the correct path at least now.
A special party leaders meeting was convened this morning to discuss the provincial council elections.
The meeting took place at the parliamentary complex and saw the participation of party leaders including Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. No decision was reached at this meeting on when the provincial council elections will be held.
There was no final decision. We will meet again with the Prime Minister on Wednesday. We have not decided on the method of holding elections.
There was no final decision. Our constant request is for the elections to be held, but there was no progress at all. The government is in fear of the election. A law was passed to have it according to the existing method. We told them not to use backdoor methods. They have not held the election for a year. If there is no election, we will take to the streets.
Faiza Mustafa made a statement. I do not know if it reflects the view of the President. 175 to 180 MPs in Parliament prefer the previous system. Find out who is against it.
The provincial council elections were discussed at the UNP's working committee meeting as well. Based on the present legal framework, we prefer the elections to be held as per the previous system. We discussed on preparing for the elections, hoping it will be held this year.
The chairman of the Elections Commission must decide that. The date will not be decided by our party.
The Prime Minister said the elections can be held except for the Northern Province this year. He also said the elections can be held in January if it is with the other 6 provinces.
Who actually represents the opposition at the Colombo Municipal Council? A tense situation arose when this issue was addressed.
Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna obtained 23 seats, the second highest number of seats obtained by a party after the United National Party. Alliance Councillor M.F.M.H. Manzil submitted a document with signatures of 28 councillors claiming he is suitable for the post of opposition leader. A tense situation arose when the representatives of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna opposed this move. United People's Freedom Alliance obtained 12 seats, while United Progressive Alliance obtained 10 seats. The Janata Vimukta Peramuna obtained 6 seats and the other political and independent parties won 8 seats. All councillors except councillors representing the JVP and 2 other councillors supported Alliance Councillor M.F.M.H. Manzil.
There's no issue because I have the majority. Even the mayor agrees with me. The Flowerbird party told me to give them 2 days of time and that they will get the documents signed by 29 of them. So far they have only 23 signatures placed on the document. So the mayor allowed them to obtain 2 days of time. So for now, I am the leader of the opposition. How does Mano Ganeshan's team say that these 10 MPs support Councillor Manzil? Because councillors representing Mano Ganeshan's party are from the government. They even attend meetings and events of the mayor. So how do they say that they represent the opposition? The Colombo Municipal Council Ordinance does not mention anything about an opposition leader post. It is only a position that's held by tradition. 23 representing the Flowerbird party were elected but they couldn't appoint a leader within 6 months. If they can prove the number of seats they have obtained, one of them can hold the opposition leader post.
Most of the councillors said a proper decision was not reached about the opposition leader post. We hope the mayor will reach a decision in this regard immediately. Colombo Mayor Rosie Senanayake said a decision will be reached on Tuesday.
UPFA MP Dayasri Jayasekara, speaking on the Ilakya program, made certain revelations.
After the 16 of us left the government, a group from the Podujana Pramuna blamed us. They called us traitors. Who did it? Starting from Basil Rajapaksa, Prasanna Ranatunga, Kanchana Wijesekara, Semasingha and Ramesh Patirana, they all attacked us. I believe those who did not want to strengthen the opposition and establish a government did this. They do not want to topple this government. There is a close relationship between a group from the joint opposition and the United National Party. There are several factors to prove it. Why do you think the court cases are postponed? Some court cases delay from 6 to 7 months. Some cases are heard continuously. This group wants Mahinda Ananda Alutgamage's case to close soon. They also want hearings of Vimal Veerawansa's case to end. Gamman Pillar's court case was also heard. While this is taking place, court cases of certain JO members are being postponed by 6 months to 1 year. So now they don't want to topple this government. They want it to be in power for the next 2 years.
Are you saying
that there is no rule of law? I'm asking because you are also a lawyer. Does that mean the judiciary is not independent? Is someone controlling the judiciary?
No, that's not what I meant. This was done through the Attorney General's department. This is not something done by the judges.
The intelligence unit of the Valikada prison has decided to has been dissolved with immediate effect. The Ministry of Justice said the decision was taken by the Minister of Justice Thalatha Athukurala following an investigation carried out on fraud and corruption which had occurred in the recent times. Anti-corruption experts have called for more capacity of institutions to bring those accountable to book. Newsfirst David Paldano spoke to several experts in Colombo on this matter.
The commission needs to be independent, and then the third ingredient I would say is the capacity of the institution itself. It needs more resources, more staff. If you look at international practice, at least 0.2% of national budget is required for specialized agencies to do their job. So the strong public supporting, public backing, as well as political will is needed. As you know, I live in Singapore. So even for $1 bribery, they can put you in jail for 3 months. The point is that only the anti-corruption agency cannot be effective in fighting corruption. So there also needs the civil service reform in terms of integrity building in civil service that has to go hand in hand together with the efforts from the commission.
What do you think about Sri Lanka's efforts to stop corruption, and what kind of suggestions would you give to help us fight corruptions in our country?
Hong Kong has been building up a really good reputation in having a clean society. We reach out to the public. Anti-corruption agency should be independent from any kinds of interference and should be directly responsible to the president, not to only do the law enforcement work, but also, as I mentioned, the preventive work and the educational work.
The Ministry of Power and Renewable Energy says many areas in Colombo will experience power cuts tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. due to essential upgrade to the transmission system. Thereby, the areas in Colombo 3, 4, 5, 7 and 8 will experience interruptions to the supply of power. In addition, the respective areas will also experience intermittent power cuts until the 31st of this month due to the upgrade of the transmission system. The Central Cultural Funds program to develop and promote the Jatika Namal Uyana commenced today under the auspices of President Maithripala Sirisena.
The Jatika Namal Uyana was vested with the custody of the Central Cultural Fund as per a request made by Venerable Vanavasi Rahula Thera, the custodian of the premises. The new information centre at the Jatika Namal Uyana and the J.R. Javadana Memorial Meditation Centre were declared open today as well.
Not only those who are engaged in logging, but those who are in parliament, the MPs and ministers involved in bringing down drugs must be sent to the gallows and not the innocent people. This is the request I make from you. Do not spare the loggers and timber racketeers. Bring forward a law that will sentence to death every single one that causes harm to the environment.
If we look at deforestation over the past 5 decades, certain politicians need to be held responsible for the destruction of all the natural resources. Politicians have used their power to generate money together with their henchmen and cause serious destruction to the resources of the past 5 to 6 decades. That is an unfortunate situation on the nation. This is why I requested for the Ministry of Environment in addition to the Ministry of Defence. I did so because I witnessed the destruction of the natural resources in the country, which was done with political blessings. The Army Commander is here. I have deployed the Army, Navy and Air Force for the protection of the environment. The Air Force Commander sends satellite images of the forest density to me once in every 2 weeks. The Navy is carrying out surveillance on the ocean area to ascertain if timber and other resources are being taken away from the country. It is for the very first time that the 3 armed forces have been used for the protection of the environment.
Sarat Chandra Sirimayadunna is the former Auditor General of Sri Lanka, and he says the state audit sector has the strength to pursue audit acts via the new act.
The state audit sector and the bureaucracy both have now privilege of enjoying the strength as well as the delivery of service that is bound as per the Act requirement. Section 4 of this Act empowers general public to bring to the notice of the Auditor General over the issues relating to the delivery of government services. Therefore, if they are not getting the state service, they can report it to the Auditor General, and Auditor General, if the things are strong enough with evidence, then Auditor General will look into those things and report to the Parliament. He is bound to do so. He is bound to webcasting this. When it is webcasted, people will come to know what are the actual activation of the government machinery. While providing these facilities, the Cabinet of Ministers as well as the Parliament is bound to give the necessary strength to the state audit as well as the government officials. If something goes wrong, or if they just ignore as per the Act, they have to face legal actions against them. I have to be so thankful to media, especially the Sirasa media, as from the inception they have taken a leading role to keep the people aware over the necessity of this National Audit Act.
President's Counsel Sarat Jaimana says anti-corruption agencies must have independence to function.
Independence with regard to the financial allocation should be given to the anti-corruption agencies. World over, there is a tendency that the financial independence is given to this anti-corruption commission. The anti-corruption agencies must have the independence to recruit the experts whom they want. In addition to that, they should have the power to prepare a scheme in order to recruit these persons. Why we need a specialized person? If you want to be truly independent and efficient anti-corruption agencies, with regard to recruitment, total discretion must be given to anti-corruption agencies.
Railway station masters, supervisors, controllers and drivers launched a 2-hour strike this afternoon.
The trade union attached to the Railway Supervision and Operations said the strike was in effect from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. today. A property located in Mardana had led to an issue which resulted in the strike action. The land in question is located at BAY number 6 Mardana, Colombo 10. At present, a private firm is using this land for business purposes. The issue had arisen in the area in which the firm had used as a car park.
As per the order of Railway Superintendent, the Railway Security Division and the respective personnel were engaged in a certain construction. At that moment, Minister Harsha De Silva had threatened them to suspend the construction. We resorted to this action to oppose that move. Harsha De Silva has intervened in this as per the request made by the adjacent private firm. An IT firm has commenced business in an area of 125,000 square feet. 1,200 people are employed there. This morning we were informed that a group had arrived there and are trying to erect a fence for a construction. We were told that a $15 million project called the Operation Headquarters and Train Control Center, passed by Cabinet, is to be constructed here. It has been approved by Cabinet. When around 80 Cabinet papers are presented, there is an issue as to how these papers are being discussed. I was told by the Prime Minister to have a meeting with Minister Nima Siripala de Silva and reach a decision by Wednesday. There is another 5 acres located close to this 10-acre plot of land. This building can be constructed in a 1-acre plot in that 5-acre land. This is the only IT park in Colombo. It was launched by the previous government and is being carried forward by the present government. Do not destroy it.
Commuters were severely inconvenienced at the Fort Railway Station due to this sudden strike action.
We are here and they say there are no trains. This is a waste of time. Is it right to give us a ticket and then say there are no trains? They should have announced it before. We are told to use the train ticket we purchased to commute in the SLTV bus. This is not fair. We waited for the tickets and then they say there are no trains.
Commuters were also inconvenienced at the Mardana railway station as well.
Sri Lankan Airlines' procurement of security equipment for the Katunayake airport has been marred with serious irregularities. This was revealed at the Presidential Commission of Inquiry today. Newsfirst's Zulfiq Farzan reports.
In 2014, Sri Lankan Airlines had called for tenders to procure 3 X-rays and the recommendation was to select the Rapiscan X-ray system. However, that tender had been cancelled by then Head of Group Security for Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lankan Catering and Mihin Lanka, retired Major General P. Chandravansa, and a second tender had been called for. This time the evaluation committee did not comprise of any representation of the Civil Aviation Authority. Director Aviation Security at the CAA, P.A. Jayakantha, testifying today said, as per the National Civil Aviation Security Program, all screening equipment procured must be ones that have been certified by the Department for Transport, UK, and the Transportation Security Administration, USA. Accordingly, Sri Lankan Airlines had requested certification from the CAA for 2 explosive trace detectors or ETDs. The CAA had identified the equipment did not meet the national requirement as the equipment were from a list known as the grandfather list. When a manufacturer submits a unit to obtain standard approval, the TSA and DFT first check the technology and include the unit to the approval list. Thereafter, it is subject to a 24-month-long field test, and if it fails, it is added to the grandfather list, basically meaning it should not be purchased. The CAA has confirmed the ETDs were procured from the grandfather list. What is even more startling is that these 2 ETDs' lifespan ends in February next year. When Sri Lankan Airlines had submitted applications for certification, the CAA had only issued permission for 1 year, which lapsed in February this year, following the commitment made by retired Major General P. Chandravansa that Sri Lankan Airlines adhere to the standards. Yet, even as of today, Sri Lankan Airlines had not made a single application for recertification and it is operating with equipment rejected by the entire aviation industry. When asked if this situation poses a security threat, the CAA noted, as a result, they are continuously monitoring the ETDs.
Over in Japan, 2 super general contractors admitted in court to bid rigging for contracts in an $81 billion project to build a super-fast maglev train line that will connect Tokyo and central Japan. Japanese authorities have inducted 4 companies, including the Taisei Corporation.
The 4 contractors colluded to maximize their profits after learning that operator Central Japan Railway Company was aiming to drastically reduce construction costs. The 4 companies had been gathering information about sections of the maglev line work since 2008 when the government instructed J.R. Tokai to flesh out details of the massive project. The 4 constructors tried to divvy up the contracts for Shinagawa and Nagoya stations so that they all had an equal share. After the February 2015 agreement to collude on bid rigging, Taisei and Kojima intentionally proposed higher bids than Obayashi and Shimizu with the aim of letting those companies win construction contracts for the Shinagawa station portion of the project. Incidentally, the infamous Taisei Corporation of Japan secured the contract to build Phase 3 of the Central Expressway. Even in Japan, Taisei had followed irregular means to secure contracts for major development projects. Earlier, Taisei Corporation was charged with bid rigging by the Japan Fair Trade Commission, and allegations were also leveled against Taisei for a sinkhole that appeared in Fukuoka City.
The Minister of Sports presented a cabinet paper on the matter of Sri Lanka cricket being under a competent authority. Professor Pratibha Mahanama stated that this cabinet paper presented under Article 41.1 of the sports law was misleading the cabinet and the President.
Kamal Padmasiri was appointed as the competent authority. According to Article 42 of the sports law, this has to be presented in Parliament, but on this occasion we took permission from the cabinet.
ඒ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව ඉදිරිපත් කිරීමට පෙර මම කැබිනට් අනුමැතිය ලබා ගත් එක තමයි සිදු වුණේ.
According to Article 32 and 33 of the Sports Law number 25 of 1973, the Minister may refuse registration or suspend or cancel the registration of a national sports association, and he may make interim arrangements for the continuing functions of the sports association under the suspension. However, Dr. Mahanama Heva says making the appointment under Article 41 is a violation of the sports law. The Gazette with regard to the cabinet paper that has been produced clearly states that the competent authority is appointed as per Article 41, which has been amended. However, this article was never amended. Article 41 speaks of the power vested with the minister in preparing regulations and the orders. This article is in violation of appointing a competent authority. There is a law, the Sports Law number 25 of 1973, and the Articles 32 and 33. When there is an issue, those articles clearly state how temporary appointments need to be made. Then, until there is a ruling, a temporary body needs to be appointed. They have failed to do that. This is misleading Cabinet and the President. This violates the law as well. Cabinet and Parliament have been misled. We request that be reviewed.
And that's a wrap of Primetime News for tonight. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Vasani Atava. Good night.